Aging populations and shrinking birth rates. Japan, South Korea and China entering uncharted demographic territory. CNA examines what is driving defense spending, though, despite these shrinking populations.
All across East Asia, major economies have steadily expanded the defense budgets over the past decade, and the trend is expected to continue. Japan has set a goal of raising defense spending to 2% of its GDP, overriding the long-standing 1% of GDP target. South Korea's 2026 defense spending is expected to hit a record, reaching 65.9 trillion won, or about $45 billion. China's defense budget has ballooned to 1.78 trillion yuan, or about $250 billion in 2025, from 720 billion yuan in 2013. Taiwan aims to raise defense spending to 5% of GDP by 2030, from about 3% currently. Why haven't aging populations made East Asia more pacifist?
Generally speaking, expanding population has been associated with expansionary behavior of states. If you look at the shrinking population, it is not unrealistic to assume or anticipate that shrinking population will lead to a less aggressive policy.
There's this theory that as a population ages, they are less willing to go to war, they are more inclined to pacifist tendencies. I think that theory is not proving out in the East Asian region at all. I think we are seeing quite contrary to the opposite. We are seeing countries like China, Japan and South Korea, for example, tuning up the rhetoric on military action, modernizing their respective military branches, and most of all, increasing their defense budget. So I think the threat perception plays a large part still on how people are willing to go to war.
Threat perceptions aside, analysts say the rise in defense spending across the region is also driven by a push to automate operations and develop smarter militaries as countries prepare for a significantly grayer future. South Korea, among others, has an ambitious defense goal despite manpower constraints.
첨단 기술을 보유한 스타트업 발굴과 R&D 투자로 방위 산업을 인공지능 시대의 주력 제조업으로 육성하고 방산 4대 강국의 발판을 마련할 것입니다.
There is a bit of a dynamic where countries are taking advantage of this particular window where they are able to automate as much of their processes as possible with technology, with automation, with AI, to seize some kind of advantage that they might have over their adversaries when the time comes that the population shrinkage or the population demography challenges are too big to overcome. 20 years ago, military modernization tend to focus on the tonnage of equipment produced. How many tanks can I buy? How many warships? How large are my warships? How many aircraft can I buy? But today we are seeing a lot more focus on automation. So among the East Asian countries, I think it is very clear that China is leading the way.
For more on the impact of growing populations on East Asia's militaries, you can watch the latest episode of CNA Correspondent tonight at 9:30 p.m. Singapore, Hong Kong time, or anytime on cna.asia or on YouTube.